Welcome back to the BetterMan YouTube channel. My name's BetterMan, aka Coach Christian. If you haven't already, on your way in, will you please give me a click of the like and the subscribe. Now, we're going to go straight into it for this next episode here. Never go deep with a woman. When I say never go deep with a woman, I don't mean be cold. I don't mean be detached. I don't mean be distant, okay? That's never going to work with a woman. You have to understand these 4 pillars that I want to talk to you today about when it comes to being with a woman, interacting with women, and having women in your life. If you know how to do this and you learn how to do it, you will and can have fun with women. But it's going to take a complete recalibration of what you're looking at, how you perceive women, and how you are with them, and also your own self-expectations, your own self-vision of who you are as a man has to be completely locked down and solid before you go near a woman. Because if it isn't, you're going to be in serious trouble. The main thing that men get wrong about not going deep with a woman is that your version of deep and her version of deep are different, okay? A man's version of deep, our version of deep is, going into detailed, technical detail of the pros and cons of the morality of the Second World War, or the strategies that were played out in history, philosophical conversations, what does the meaning of life, all this shit that we like to get into as men. We can go for hours on things that we care about and that we're interested in. We'll go into absolute high resolution detail. But women, that's not deep for women. What's deep for women is to be in emotion, to be feeling the moment, to be feeling presence. And for men, that is quite difficult to do, quite honestly. One of the only times that men really feel that automatically is when they are being sexual and intimate in your bodies. It's putting you in your body. Women are in their bodies. Their emotions are somatic, meaning of the body, and that's their natural state. But for us men, one of the big moments for us to feel our body is in that interaction. It's why sex is so powerful, and it's why it's so potent, and it's also why it's been so heavily weaponized in the modern culture. Women have been given the keys to the castle on this. They've been given a lot of power, or they've unlocked a new level of power through sexuality, but without responsibility. And that has gone a little bit haywire. So what you got to remember is men live in logic. Their depth is in logic, detail, analysis. And women's depth is in feeling and emotion. And so that is why when you treat a female with logic to her emotion, it's like pouring gasoline on a fire. It's like speaking a different language. And that is why women give you such weird responses when you meet them with that logic. It's sort of like playing a game of tennis and you hit the ball over the net to the girl and she hits it back to you without the ball and just throws the tennis racket at your head. And so you're not expecting the response that she gives you because you've met her in a game that she's not playing. And so until you learn this language, you're going to end up coming across this conflict. And you can never win in that conflict. A woman will always win that, because if you try to engage with her in logic, again, to logic your way out of the thing that already started with logic, you're just digging a deeper hole for yourself. So the next piece to understand is that once you've got your head around that, then you have to realize that when you are starting to engage with intimate conversation with a woman, she's going to be speaking to you through her language of expression. But that is also going to be a moment of test for you, because her manipulation or her testing to see what kind of man you are will come through vulnerability. Okay, this happens when you get a little more intimate with women. They will reveal something about their past or some details around her relationship with her father, and essentially give you a moment of vulnerability and to see what you'll do with it. Now, this is again an opportunity for you to not fall into the trap of then, oh, well, she's been vulnerable, so now I'll be vulnerable back and tell her all about my fears and my worries as a little boy, and now as a man I'm scared about my business or losing money. No, it's not a one-to-one ratio when it comes to men and women, okay? When it comes to dealing and communicating and being with women. What you have to understand is you've got to change your expectation of women completely, because you're not having the same conversation ever, okay? Even though it feels like you kind of are, because a woman's speaking English or whatever your language is and you're speaking back to her, but it's not the same. And so when she gets vulnerable, when she tells you all these things about her past, she wants you to hold it, okay? She wants you to be able to deal with it. And a lot of modern women are going to reveal probably some pretty crazy stuff. And you have to be locked in your standards and boundaries when they come with the reveal. Because if she reveals things about her past that you can't stand, that goes against your standards, then you're going to have to put a pin in it and know that now you've got to walk away, or actually just do that in real time. And that's going to depend on what your boundaries are, what your standards are, and how firm you are with those. But if what she tells you is appropriate, but vulnerable, whatever, you can't get offended by it. Ultimately, you have to hold the line, and you certainly can't double down and engage with it. And this is a really key thing that you need to understand, because this is like one of the first tests you're going to get when it comes to seeing where you're at in your own masculinity. And they do this instinctually, by the way. This is not, I'm going to talk to him tonight about my childhood and see how he does it. It's just going to come naturally through probably whether you're being really intimate and after intimacy, or you just, you've been hanging out for a minute and now things are going really well. And it'll be at a perfect time that she will decide through feeling it, she'll feel the vibes and she'll reveal something, and that will be a moment for you to hold the line. Be connected with her, but don't jump in the river after her. Don't take it as an opportunity to reveal all your shit. You want a woman to see you as Superman, ultimately, in some form, realistically. But you do want to hold some aspect of that superhero energy with her, where nothing can break you, nothing gets past you, and every time she tests, you hold the line and be present with her. And as long as you just know that that's your role, you're not going to be resentful towards a woman. There's no need to be resentful. It's nature. You don't be resentful towards nature. You just deal with and accept it for what it is. What's going on in the modern period is that men don't have a lot of men in their life to actually unload and to have support from men. They got told that they could get their support from their women, and that was a huge mistake. And it's created this whole thing because it's changed the expectation. Whenever you do that with a woman, you're talking to her like she's your mother. That is ultimately the truth. And so just know that you don't go to your woman. That's not the well you go to reveal your insecurities. It just isn't. And by the way, she will ask you to do it from time to time to see if you're going to fall for the trick. So you just have to learn how to deflect and reflect and just make her feel good. Okay, there's always going to be a reason why she's asking you that. She's trying to find something out, and you have to smell it from a mile off. That's the masculine imperative. So yeah, it's never go deep with a woman, meaning stay present, stay in the here and now, stay connected, be present with her, be warm, be protective, be fun. You've got to be light and polite and charismatic and solid, grounded, funny, whatever your vibes are, it's all good. And also, it's not about being just the court jester for the sake of it. She wants to feel depth, and you have to make her feel depth without revealing depth on your side. And she's going to unload everything on you, and it is on you to do that. As soon as you start talking about politics, conspiracy theories, endless rational breakdowns, you stepped into her frame, because now you're talking like your friends. And so she just immediately will clock you as an equal, as a friend, as a girlfriend, ultimately. And that will turn her off. That's the same sort of turn off that we have when we're not into something about the way they look. And that will put you off the whole thing, because we're so dependent on that attraction. And for women, it's much more around this. It's this energy of masculinity, and can you hold it or not? And they want to be able to lean into you. But if you meet them in that chaos, essentially, she's going to just clock you as a friend, put you in the friend zone. Or she might do it in her mind, but continue to be with you until she finds somebody else. Either way, it's no good. She doesn't want to meet you on the level with you. That even though they'll say that, feminism, all the things, they say that they want that, but they don't want it, okay? They want you to be the CEO. They don't want you to micromanage their shit. They just want you to be taking care of your big picture hierarchical position, and for you to not get in the weeds and the micro about everything to her. You don't reveal any of that to her. You don't talk to your girl about all the idiosyncrasies and issues you're having at work or in your business. It's just a snooze fest. When you first meet a girl and she asks you what you do, if you're an accountant, don't tell her you're an accountant. You say, I work with numbers, or I make sense of things. You create and evoke emotion in what you do. They don't care about the details. They want to feel, honestly, they'd rather not know about any of it. They just want it all to sort of exist and happen. That's how women respond the best. Now that's annoying, I know, to us guys, because a lot of the things for men is in the details, like, oh, do you know what I've been through and all the steps I went through to get to this thing? But it's like the samurai, you know, on his journey to being a samurai, it's absolutely brutal and solitude and solo and working with his sensei and his master, and no one sees any of that. It's all hidden. If that's men, it's we do all of that in the shadows so that you just see, or she just sees, the end result at the end of the factory line. The man comes out of the machine and he's now fully formed as a man. She doesn't give a shit what you went through. She just wants to see the result. And that's what you have to understand. They don't care about what you went through. They just care how you are right now in the moment, because women are obsessed with the present, because that is their only reference for safety is, am I safe right now? Am I with a safe man? Is he energetically safe to me? Because it's always a risk for a woman physically to make the choice to be with a man, because she's ultimately going into the symbolic cave with him. So women must choose correctly, and men evoke that submission through your own energy. Okay, this is what you have to understand why you don't go deep with a woman. All of the depth that occurs between a man and a woman is unspoken. It's all in the action. That's how masculinity is administered. It's not in it's not in aggression. It's not in you can't do that and you can't do that. That's not going to work. You just get made a fool of. The girls immediately, you know, that's why you don't argue with women. That's why you don't engage with them in all their silly games. When you know they're trying to be manipulative, you just don't play. It's all these men tricked into this, and they're being made to look like fools on the internet, when bad actors of women will try and engage them in these conversations just to dupe into conflict. Because as soon as a man starts getting involved in a discussion and an argument with a woman sees that as pathetic, because they're like, why is he getting all upset and arguing with me? I'm just this girl saying these things. Men like to get like that. We like to be like, wait, hang on a minute. No. This is it, and the time, and this is what we said, and these are the rules. And men will go at it with each other. And that's great. We love that. We love to do that. And we should do it. It's a beautiful way that men express themselves. You just don't fucking do it with women. Don't do it with women. Ever. So these are the pillars that I have for this sentiment, essentially. The 4 pillars of masculinity when it comes to dealing with a woman. Understanding, discernment, indifference, and discipline. This is strategy. This is not about like how you connect with a woman. This is just like masculine strategy of understanding what's going on. Okay, so initially understanding. No, she's not a man. Don't expect logic from her, and don't meet her feeling with logic. Okay, so that's understanding what you're looking at. You're looking at a woman. She's not a man. You know, Marxist, communist, feminist, to submit to you. It's built into her ideology and her value system to never submit to men. Obviously that's an extreme example, but you can't change that. So your discernment is to just be like, don't even start with someone like that. Even if she's not so overt, she's not got the purple hair, maybe you're attracted to her, but as soon as you find out that her sort of value system is built around something that's impenetrable, essentially, or at least not your job to try to change, you just walk away light and polite, because that's discernment. And then you also have the discernment of going forward with a woman, you know, going through the tests and the vetting of a woman through dating her, finding little bits about her, nice and slow, nice and steady, as she reveals herself. You can also manipulate the situation just to get her to reveal things that she may not forwardly reveal, certainly with like behavior of her past, sexuality, promiscuity, those sorts of things. You can get her to reveal those things by going along with it and sort of making it okay in the conversation, so you can get her to reveal what she's been up to. And if she doesn't, then that's actually her passing your vetting test. But if she starts to tell you about, if you say to her, oh, what's the craziest sexual act you've done? And she's like, oh my God, I was like, you know, I did the entire football team around the back of the bike sheds when I was 25. You can be like, check please. You know, you can be like, oh my God, you crazy little bitch, you know, whatever, you saucy cow. Go along with it, nice and easy, have a fun night. Maybe you hook up and then you just chalk her off and walk away. You don't need to like call her out for it. You just mark it in the mind and go, yeah, well, that's not going to work. I don't want to be with a woman that's done all that shit. And, you know, you've got to be firm on that. And that's how you have discernment about what you're dealing with. Have the discernment. Moving on to indifference. This one's where you're going to have to master it, because this takes a minute to figure out. Men go from being hyper reactive and emotional, right? Super invested on the emotion side. You're meeting the girl's emotion with emotion, and that's just a huge explosion of energy, which ultimately makes you look weak, and she'll leave you on those grounds. She don't want to deal with that either. Men will figure out that that doesn't work, and then they'll switch to the opposite, which is cold and detached and almost like not care. And that's a way to test out being with women and not being reactive, and sort of who you are when you're not reacting with a woman. It's a good test. It's a good little experiment to do by doing that with a few girls, maybe that you're not as into, but it's a good way to feel that out. Like, you want to feel that version of you in real time, so you can get a reference point as a North Star for that energy. When it's game time and you're really invested, you can still default back into that energy. But being indifferent is not cold. The balance here is being present, warm, fun, even. This is the other thing. Men get this really wrong, where they think they have to be like, I'm a man. And that don't work either. That's a caricature. You've got to know the line between playful, grounded, fun, spontaneous, solid, ability to say no, holding the line, refusing to argue, yet being very firm. It's so many maneuvers all happening at the same time that's just constantly keeping things smooth and rolling. That's the man's job. And most of you guys are like, this sounds like too much work. This is too much. And it's like, because you guys didn't realize that this was the gig. You thought you could just do the front end, get the girl, and everything's good. Or you can't get a girl at all, and you just, you know, you're quitting the whole thing. It's like, anything you don't know is difficult. You have to learn it. Like anything. If you learn an instrument, when you first start playing the piano, it's shit. It sucks. It's really hard. And the value of learning and being able to play piano is because it's difficult, okay? It is difficult. You're going to have to go through trial and error and be forged through all of this. This is partly what makes men, is actually going through these experiences with women and being forged in the fire. That's partly why women exist. They are our testers. They are the ultimate revealers of our masculinity. Once you get your ego out of the way and you move on from just being resentful, what's the point of that? What I'm teaching with BetterMan is to graduate from bitter and go better. Right? That's what we're doing here. And by the way, if you want to join my community, click the link in the bio. It's free to join. BetterMan Academy. We're at almost 700 members now. This is the kind of stuff we're talking about in the community, and it's very important for men to have community, and that is why I've created that community, to help men that want to actually do this and learn and apply the things we're talking about in this video and other videos I've done, and help them level up their lives. And also, a lot of the men in there, their main thing is, I want to attract higher level women. And I'm like, great, become a higher level man. That is how you get better women. Get better as yourself, whatever that is for you. It doesn't necessarily mean bags of cash and Lamborghinis. That's also a caricature of masculinity. It's about your energy, about how you carry yourself. It's about what you're doing in your life. Got your mission and purpose, and you're focused. You will get the girl that you want, because you won't want that girl. You won't need that girl. You'll be living a full life. You'll be alive, and that energy will attract the women that you really want. And that's what comes to and that brings me to the last one here, which is discipline. Discipline is crucial. It's the thing that wraps it all up. You can't be around women and sort of do all this stuff and then not be disciplined, because women, or a woman, really is a drug. It's another form of pleasure, a woman, really. That's it. Yes, she can be an absolute nightmare, and it can be a pain in your ass at times, but most of the time women give back what you are. That's the bitter pill to swallow, and that's how you get better, by get your ego out of the way and realize that women are emotional beings. that respond to the moment on an energy level. And if you can really take a look at yourself, you'll be able to see exactly why fights started, okay? The guy that you were on date 1 and date 2 that got the girl into bed and all the things you were doing was not the same, is not the same guy as you are 3 months down the line for the most of us, because you drop the ball. You think, oh, I don't have to do it anymore. And what happens is, slowly over that 3-month period, it starts slipping, the persona, the mask starts slipping, and the reveal is that you're not quite as dialed as you showed that you were initially, and you're not quite as masculine as the performance led her on, okay? Now I get it why we do that, because we're peacocking. We want to get the girl, so we're putting on this show to get the girl, but that only gets you in the door. And ultimately, if you really like a girl and you've gotten this girl, but now you can't back it up because you don't have discipline, you don't have structure, you don't have purpose, that will get revealed very quickly. Women are like bloodhounds for this shit, and men just blame the woman. How is that masculine? He made me lose my shit. That's not masculine. You don't have to be a big, strong, burly bodybuilder. It's just all caricature. The gym bro sort of meme right now has gone overdrive because it's sort of an overcorrection to get back to masculinity. Going to the gym is epic because it is discipline. Going to the gym every day or 4 days a week, whatever it is an example of discipline. That is one example. Reading regularly is another example of discipline. Okay, eating food, other forms of exercise, scheduling, commitment, all these things are just versions of discipline. Learning different skills, they're all optics of discipline, and they will ultimately lead to you as a man becoming grounded, being the things that you have to be to get what you want out of life, including women, but also work, career, dream, financial. All of it is coming through this system. And when you do that, it all falls into place because you're not faking, you're not tricking to try to get this thing on the grounds of deceit, okay? And you'll get found out by that. And the reason why men struggle with that is because they did do that on deceit. They get found out and then they get completely destroyed because they've fallen in love with a fantasy that doesn't exist, because she's now lost respect for you because you're not the man you said you were, and now she's gone. And you can either go, women suck, I hate women, they're crazy, or you can take a look at your life. You can take a look at where you went wrong. And generally speaking, you only went wrong because you weren't honest, you weren't authentic at the beginning. The gap between your persona and your authentic self was so big that it was too much for her to grasp when the truth was revealed. So if you're in a state right now where that's happened, or you're in a breakup, or you've gone through this in your life, this is massive. It's going to be so important for you to understand these principles in this video, guys. So yeah, it's humbling for sure as men, because we've got egos and we want to be the man, right? We want to be the man, but women are the ultimate focus group to remind us of where we're at as men. Sometimes that can bust our egos open. It can be certainly humbling, but humility makes the man. And those women that come and reveal us and break us, they're not supposed to stick around, and that's good, because in front of that woman it can be embarrassing to be exposed like that. But don't worry, because she's gone to the next thing. And so you go into the shadows, and when you come back, you're a new man. You've come out of the cocoon and you've been reborn, you've been forged in your masculinity. And the woman that meets that man will never know about that guy that did all of that shit. And that's the beauty of these women that come in, they go again. So it's all happening in real time. It's all built into the relationship. There's no need for you to get involved with all these deep conversations and, you know, overtly sharing all this stuff. No. The more you say, the more you fuck it up. That's the way it is, the truth. So to close and to wrap, basically, look, never go deep with a woman. If you tempt to meet her in her world, cancel the polarity. It's as simple as that. It's alchemy, it's energy. And when you do that, attraction fades and she will walk away. And she's going to either walk away, the intimacy will just stop, sexuality will break down, it'll all shut down, it'll all seem really wrong, and you won't know what's gone on. And it's this reason, because you met her in her world, didn't stay above her. Don't be afraid of feminine chaos. Don't be turned off by it. It's your job to hold it in masculine frame. Let her flap around. Don't jump in the river after her. And ultimately, lads, if you want to go deeper, then go deeper with me and the men in the BetterMan Academy. Like I said, click the link below. It's free to join. Almost 700 men in there right now. It's an incredible community of like-minded men. We support each other. You get access to me, and it's just, quite honestly, it's a no-brainer for any man in the modern age trying to figure this shit out. So it's a lot going on there. I know I spoke a lot today, but it's an important one, and I hope you got something out of this video. And again, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We're building the BetterMan YouTube from the ground up now. We're doing great on Instagram and TikTok, and so I'm focusing here on the long form, which I really think is going to be a lot of value for you lads out there. So give me a thumbs up, comment below, get engaged here in the comments, and I'll see you in the BetterMan Academy. Appreciate all the support, lads, appreciate all the love, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.